Hi, I am Tracy, and I just completed 8 weeks of BodyBright. And spending the 8 weeks with a group of women in Deanna, I had several light bulb moments, several realizations of what my circle of health truly looked like. We started out just 8 weeks ago going through our circle of health, and that was identifying in those key areas of our lives: spiritual, financial, movement, nutrition, how we rated ourselves. And now I work out every day, and I thought, oh, I'll just go through this and see if I can learn something. And as we started out with our wellness why, mine was to ensure that I could live a quality of life and spend time with those I love, being active and doing the things I love: walking, boating, golfing, being outside. And I kept that wellness why in mind as we went through each module. And I noticed as I rated my health, although I thought I was doing spectacular, I was very low in the area of physical health, emotional health, and mental health. And that's because I knew I was coming up on a hip replacement surgery, and I had no idea the impact it was taking on my mental and emotional health, and how chronic pain was truly impacting my life. We progressed on each week with healthy eating and nutrition, and we spent time with Chef Trey. And I realized that I had limiting beliefs. I had soul-deflating beliefs that were making me believe I was doing things that were healthy. In fact, when I went through the simple exercise of looking at my pantry or looking at my refrigerator, I realized my nutritional health was also in chaos. And I learned pretty quickly the ease of doing meal planning, which I've done in my life. But Chef Trey made it super easy. And if you gear your nutrition on how you feel, makes it a much simpler process. And then went through that, and then all along the way incorporated tiny bites, began journaling again, became aware of simple things like my refrigerator and my pantry, and then prepping my meals, and then praying before movement. And then I started to incorporate yoga into my movement. That was a love I've had for many years, but got out of the habit, and also tried to incorporate spirituality, a prayer before my movement. We finished last week with wholeness and reflecting on our spiritual journey, and then we ended with writing a letter to our future self. I look forward to reading that letter in 3 months, but what really hit me last week was my circle of health needs to be revolving around my spiritual journey. And that is what I'm working on now. And I thank Deanna and all the group of women I got to go through this with. It was so eye-opening for me, and I will continue on this journey, although class has finished, because I've learned so much.